There are many documented cases of abuse by American soldiers when the U.S. military bases were still in the Philippines. The same thing happened when American soldiers temporarily returned to the Philippines, which is the focus of our episode today. This is the case of a Filipina who was raped by a U.S. Marine known as the Subic Rape Case. Many human rights abuses were linked to the U.S. military and their personnel when America still had military bases here in the Philippines. That's why many rejoiced when the military bases were removed from the country after the historic vote by senators against them in September 1991. The Subic Naval Base in Zambales, Clark Air Base in Pampanga, and Camp John Hay in Baguio City were permanently closed. At the time, the Subic Naval Base was the largest U.S. military naval base in Asia, with over 7,000 American servicemen and civilian workers. Due to the Philippines' strategic location, the U.S. forged the creation of the Visiting Forces Agreement, VFA, despite widespread opposition. Local cause-oriented groups wanted to avoid a repeat of the abuse and violence committed by American soldiers against Filipinos, especially women. Despite the protests, the VFA was successfully implemented. In November 2005, a Filipina said she was raped by an American Marine at a lava pier in Subic. The accused were among the American soldiers participating in the Balikatan military exercise between the Philippines and the U.S. under the VFA. The victim was a college graduate from Zamboanga City who was just invited to Subic by a U.S. Marine friend. She was referred simply as Nicole. The accused were Lance Corporals Daniel Smith, Keith Silkwood, and Dominic Duplantis, and Staff Sergeant Chad Carpentier. The rape happened at midnight on November 1st, 2005, inside a Hyundai Starex van at a lava pier, which was part of the Subic Bay Freeport, where the U.S. Marines ship was docked. In her initial testimony, Nicole said 4 American soldiers raped her. But she later changed it and claimed that only Smith had raped her while his fellow soldiers cheered him on. Smith's defense was that no rape had occurred because Nicole had willingly consented to what happened between them. During the hearing, it came out that Nicole and her stepsister, Anna Liza, had been invited by U.S. Navy Petty Officer Christopher Mills to visit Subic. Mills had become friends with Nicole's family in Zamboanga City when the Visiting Forces Agreement was launched there. Nicole's family had a canteen or small eatery that she managed herself. Soldiers often hung out at the eatery. That's also where Nicole met her boyfriend, Brian Goodrich, a member of the 12th Marines Operations Platoon, who was stationed in Okinawa, Japan, when the incident occurred. On November 1st, 2005, Mills invited Nicole and Annalisa to the Neptune Bar to have fun after dinner. Mills briefly excused himself from the two, who were already drinking with other U.S. Marines. Mills returned after almost an hour, but Nicole was no longer there. Nicole was found at the pier, extremely drunk and crying. In the testimony of a Neptune bar guard, he saw Smith carrying Nicole and putting her in a Starex van. Many others also saw Smith drop off and leave Nicole at the pier. Among the witnesses was the driver of the van rented by Smith and the others. In his initial testimony, the van driver, Timoteo Soriano Jr., said that Smith had raped Nicole, but he later retracted his testimony. Soriano said he was forced to sign the affidavit by the police. After the controversies and heated hearings, Judge Benjamin Pozon of the Makati Regional Trial Court Branch 139 handed down his decision. Lance Corporal Daniel Smith was guilty of rape beyond a reasonable doubt. He was sentenced to reclusion perpetua, or up to 40 years in prison. The 3 other American soldiers were acquitted. Based on the decision released on December 4, 2006, the court said that, contrary to Smith's defense that she had consented to sex with him, Nicole's extreme intoxication meant she was unable to consent or even resist. But instead of being imprisoned in a regular jail cell, as ordered by the court, Smith was held inside the U.S. Embassy. Smith immediately appealed to the Court of Appeals, seeking to overturn the Makati RTC decision. But even before the Court of Appeals could make a decision, Nicole's mother came forward with a letter stating that her daughter was retracting her previous statements about the rape by Smith. In her affidavit dated March 12, 2009, Nicole retracted her earlier allegations that were the basis of the Makati RTC's ruling. Nicole insisted that she was not sure if the rape had happened. She also fired attorney Evelyn Ursua as her lawyer, stating that Ursua no longer had the right to represent her in any legal capacity. It also came out that Nicole had already left the country and traveled to the U.S. before her mother announced her affidavit of recantation. Nicole's mother explained that her daughter would live in America with her U.S. military fiancé after her immigration papers were sorted out. Protests and speculations erupted regarding Nicole's retraction of the rape allegation against Smith. Many women's groups, human rights groups, and politicians who supported Nicole's fight protested. They accused the U.S. of interfering and of large-scale bribery. Even Senator Lauren Lagarde herself said she saw America's hand in Nicole's retraction of her testimony. For Senator Jambi Madrigal, Nicole's reversal was an indication that there was, perhaps, a deal too good to refuse. Ursua, on the other hand, believed that Malacanang was behind her client's recantation. A month after Nicole's recantation, the Court of Appeals handed down its decision. Just like Nicole's retraction, the Court of Appeals also overturned the Makati RTC's decision and acquitted Lance Corporal Daniel Smith of the rape charge. The Court of Appeals released its decision on April 23, 2009. The Court of Appeals explained that the reversal was based on the merits and evidence of the case. You be the judge of the outcome of Nicole's case against Lance Corporal Daniel Smith by sharing your reactions on our social media accounts. Like, follow, and share our social media accounts so more people can listen to this episode. Thank you for tuning in to Pinoy Police Files. Until next time.